Sports 910.
You're hot.
All right, everybody, welcome back in. Rockin' the Newts with Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910. We continue here. Casino, Arizona. We're broadcasting from the sports book. It's going to be packed in here tonight because it is the college championship football game, Washington against Michigan. Frank Sanders is joining us right now, former Arizona Cardinal wide receiver. You can follow him on Twitter, Frank Sanders 81. Frank, welcome as always, pal. I just want to pick your brain a little bit, your overall thought process of how that game ended yesterday and with what some of the players had to say afterwards, thinking that this team is going to be much better next year.
Hey, guys. How you guys doing? Happy New Year's. Looking forward to this new 2024 season. I'm definitely going to get my guessing or my picking, being able to pick a team up much better than it was last year. But I will say this about the Cardinals game. What a way to wait. That's how I felt. Just exactly how I just spit it out, Jimmy B. There's no answers for it, man. Like, the game was a great game, well-called game, hard-fought game between both teams. Came down to the last minute. The Cardinals put themselves in a great position. All the things you want in the fourth quarter, trying to knock one of your division opponents out of the playoffs, and you give it to your kicker. He has an opportunity, and he just misses it, not just slightly right, but way right.
Well, then twice. You think about that, Frank. He missed a 43-yarder and that 51-yarder, and you want to go out, with the win and feel good about it. But my question for you, did you see enough with the passing game overall, not only with Kyler, and finally getting the receiving core involved with Trey McBride, maybe the last 2 or 3 games where we saw some growth, keyword growth, in the passing game to move them forward to next year? And also, your boy Rondale Moore, where's he been? He came alive the last couple of games. You think that there's some, air quotes, job scenario on the line with that as well, too?
You know what? I will say this here. I do think that we saw what the offense looked like and what it can be over the last couple of weeks of what will be the most effective offense for the Arizona Cardinals and the best opportunity for Kyler to be effective, efficient, as well as productive in the offensive scheme. He doesn't have to win it all. He has to be able to be balanced, and I think that's what we saw. I mean, we saw J.C. James Conner walk away with, almost 4 or 5 games with 100 yards at the end of the season. We haven't seen that, guys, in how long?
Many years.
You got to right. So you really got to say you saw an improvement in the offense. You saw that the guys are fighting 4 quarters of football. I mean, 4 quarters and 60 minutes of football in the NFL is extremely hard. But I think that the guys got coached for 4 quarters of football in 60 minutes, and I think the guys showed up to play 4 quarters in 60 minutes. And I think that was definitely evident. Watching Rondale Moore and a couple plays that he was able to make, we know the talent's there. I just don't know if we're finding him enough in the system to allow him to be the guy that we think he really can be. That's to be seen as we get into next year. But there's a lot of talent in what he brings to the table. We just haven't seen enough to really, to fight for him this offseason when it comes to.
It looks like he's starting to grow as a receiver. What does he like about him, and what does he still need to work on to take that Frank Sanders step, if you will, to be productive?
Consistency just off the top. That's one of the things I would say. I that's what I was known for, is consistency, and I think that's what you want all your receivers that we consider to be great, from Anquan Bolden to Larry Fitzgerald to Rob Moore, guys that are consistent, that can go out and make plays when you need those guys to make plays, and when the number's called. But I like Michael. I think this kid is 6'4", 6'3", large frame, 210 pounds plus of a man. He runs 4.4. He runs all the routes. I like him. I think the upside for him is really good, but the next phase is to be consistent. And again, offensively, we got to find better ways to, to get him the ball, at least 4 or 5 to 7 times a game, where we can really see him develop and become the player that we think he can be.
Frank, I'm all over the wide world, the web, the WW, I'm all over the internet, right? And I think I'm at the end, and I don't see anywhere where it says you're known as being consistent. I mean, who said that? Like, what player or what coach or what GM said Frank Sanders I've heard standout wide receiver, All-American, all that, but I don't see consistent anywhere. Where is that?
It's in the court of public opinion. That's where you find it right
Oh.
there. Yes.
Well, let him answer it, Manuch.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Manuch.
You're welcome.
My stats don't lie, bro. I led the league 3 years in a row on third down receptions. I'm just one of those guys that just can get it done. I mean, my stats don't lie, Rock. I'm sorry, Pebble. Pebble right now,
yes.
right? Pebble.
Oh, man. What am I going to do with these golf balls I got you with 81 on them for Christmas? I got to hook up with you to get them to you because I know you need them.
Look, I do need them, Rock, because every time I see your face, I'm definitely going to go inside and I'm going to hit that little baby drop.
Hey, do you think there's a good shot at getting Harrison from Ohio State? Yeah. You think that he'll be there at 4?
You know what? Honestly, I don't. I really don't. I don't. I think that the conversation speaks about having the quarterbacks out there, but we can say that the league is very young with the quarterbacks that they have. And there's just so many rotations between the offensive coordinators, the head coaches right now in the NFL. And you guys just wake up this morning, you look at the papers. When a head coach is fired, of course, there's a new offensive coordinator that's probably going to come in and a defense coordinator. And so there's all these young quarterbacks that we see between the Chicago Bears. Look at the Cardinals. I mean, we got Kyler, and this is the 5th year. And the next couple of guys between that, those quarterbacks are young. So we just got to allow these guys to kind of grow a little bit. I think Harrison would be a top pick for the Bears if they're number 1 off the top. I just think that their quarterback has the same problem that we need, and he needs players. DJ Moore showed himself at Chicago to be a stud of a receiver, but he needs some help. And I think that would be, if I'm the general manager, he'd be my first pick take.
Let me follow up then on that. So if you think that they are going to keep Justin Fields and not take Caleb Williams, what does that say then about teams that are picking at 2, 3, and 4 then?
You have to look at your needs and your wants, and I think that, we can look back and say some of the quarterback draft picks that have been taken in the last couple of years, they're not hit the mark, and I think there's a part where you can look at and say, maybe we're overhyping this moment because you got to be smart right now, Rock. You really have to be smart from a general manager's perspective. Keep getting these first round draft picks. These suckers they're gonna start adding up for $40 million pretty fast. Now we're looking at the first wave of our $40 million quarterbacks go through the Justin Lawrences, the Burrows, the Hurst and the Herberts and Kyler Murray. That group just went through that wave of $40 million. The next group come along, they'll be between 60 and 70. So you got to start downplaying the position of the quarterback and realize the value lies in the outside of the guys that you throw the ball to and some great coaching. If you can get that, then that to me, it just makes more sense right now with the number of the quarterback and where that is statistically in regards to, quarterbacks have gotten hurt. And that to me says if he gets hurt, that changes everything. And then you start calling out a Joe Flacco or Jake Plummer out of retirement.
Frank, who do you like tonight?
I like Michigan, man. I like Michigan. Just keeping it real simple. I like Michigan. The defense is the defense causes a lot of problems. They did a hell of a job against Alabama, and Alabama has 2 to 3 great receivers. They have a good running game. The offensive line ain't great, but I like the fact that Alabama had players and they went at them hard and they went at the quarterback. So I think that's going to be one of the biggest things they're going to try to do to get at Penix and get him off his roster.
Thank you, Frank, buddy. Have a great week and Happy New Year to you.
I love you, brothers, man. Have a good one, my man.
You got it. That's Frank Sanders, the consistent Frank Sanders.
Very consistent Frank Sanders.
He was. He had the stat.
Coming up.